Scott McFarland running for alderman in Ward 4. Welcome to the show, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I won't read into the fact that you had stand-up comedy before me.
Hey, the stand-up comedy is every day after 5 o'clock. Every day. Whether you're being interviewed or not. It is good to see you. Hey, how's it going? Now, this is not your first election, although it's your first election for alderman. You have run before, of course, for school board.
I've ran twice for school board, won both times, and here I am trying for a trifecta.
What is the difference between running for school board and running for alderman?
Well, running for alderman is a much bigger task, which is a good thing because a lot more people are paying attention. A lot more people are concerned about what's going on with the city, and I'm really enjoying going out and talking to folks. You know, I've hit on about 2,000 doors so far, and we got another round to go, so we're going to be knocking a couple thousand more before it's all said and done.
Let me ask you, when you knock on doors, do people invite you in and want to talk to you, or are they just wanting to brush you off?
I've had a lot of good porch conversations.
Yeah.
A lot of people invited me into the kitchen and just having to sit down and talking. It's been very good.
So, I mean, they'll actually say, come on in.
Yeah.
And they offer you food and stuff like that. I mean, they're just...
At least a glass of water sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's been good. I've had some really good conversations of folks who, for the longest time, didn't know who their alderman was or haven't heard from anybody else. And
right.
I knock on their door and they're wanting to talk about their issues. A lot of the issues dealing with the neighborhoods and safety and roads. And especially in our area of town, we have the Pillsbury plant right down the street.
Right.
We have high-speed rail. It's going to chew our North Grand up for quite some years. And Sangamon Avenue needs some help, too. So a lot of people want to talk, and I appreciate it.
Frank Lesko's been for how many consecutive? 8. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's been there forever. And so, like you say, there really hasn't been new people knocking on doors for quite a few years. What have you learned from people when you knock on their door? I mean, has someone told you something that made you go, wow? I mean, are they saying things that make you think, or are they just reinforcing what you've already been thinking?
No, I'm taking a lot of new ideas. One of them, I just got a call today from somebody who read my phone number on my mailer I put out, and he owns a trailer in one of the parks in my area, and he's really concerned about that CWLP bill in terms of moving the trash pickup over to the CWLP bill. Now, I'm somebody who's for that to get rid of the fly dumping, but he was pointing out to me that a lot of those folks in the parks have their pickup done through their landlord, and therefore they're going to be double charged if we do that. So now I know that when I get to city council, if I do see that CWLP issue comes up, I'm going to want to push for an ordinance amendment that's going to allow to make sure that renters who are already paying their landlord for this service aren't being paid aren't having to pay twice. So it's ideas like that that are coming out of
And you came up with that
talks.
because an actual future, potentially future constituent,
I got the phone call today.
Told you,
Yes.
hey, consider this.
Yes, and I'm going to push forward with that if I get to the city council because of his phone call.
And that's how it works, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to have dialogue with your people. Now, do these people already know you from the school board? A lot of them already know you from the school board?
Most of the ward is in my sub-district, so this is not the first time I've talked to a lot of these folks, but there are some areas that are new to me, like the Twin Lakes Neighborhood Association area. They're new to me this year because they weren't in my sub-district, but I've been out talking to them quite a bit. And a lot of folks know because I tend to be the loudmouth on the school board, so they've seen me before, for better or worse. Let
me ask you this, and I'm asking this to all the candidates. All the candidates are getting this question. I don't know if you heard my interview with Paul Palazzolo earlier.
I did.
Of your opponents,
mm-hmm.
All right? And now you have two. I know of one. I know you have
two. There are
two. Okay. Of your opponents, what is that one thing that they say that when you hear, you find trouble? Like, how do I just let this go? What's that thing that makes you want to just scream that you're opposed against?
I will give you two examples. Both came out of the SGR interview we had on Thursday, which is now posted on the YouTube site. The same opponent said, one, that the Pillsbury plant will never come down, that it will just sit there as a husk in the middle of the north end and not come down. I said unequivocally, it will come down. I'm going to work with the city, work with whoever I need to work with to get that sucker down. Much like the Bel Air on the south side of town, Pillsbury must go.
So one of your opponents said, and I have not got a chance to hear it. I was busy all weekend, and you guys were just posted at the end of last week.
Friday, yeah.
One of your opponents said that the Pillsbury plant's never coming down.
He said, it'd be a dream for it to come down, but it won't happen. And I disagreed with him fully. It needs to come down. It has been gutted. There is nothing in there. And it's actually Ward 2, but it's basically across the street from Ward 4. Yeah. And it's affecting Ward 2, Ward 3, Ward 4, all of those, because when a business comes down that street and says, okay, I want to put a business in Springfield, they see that
Pillsbury plant,
eyesore.
It's an
and
eyesore.
They keep on driving to the west side of town.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop in the north end. That needs to come down. My opponent disagreed. Another one, same idea. There's a flyer going around from my opponent saying he fought hard for the 10th Street consolidation. I'm not a big fan of 10th Street consolidation. I think it's going to cause a lot of troubles for the north end. Now, it's going through, so we can't stop it, but I'm going to be a voice for our business owners and our residents in that area who are going to have to deal with construction from the high-speed rail.
For years.
Yeah. North Grand is going to have an overpass in front of underpass in front of Lanphier and an overpass in front of Robin Roberts. We're going to lose houses, businesses. Traffic is going to have to be moved somewhere. Carpenter's already cut in half, so where are we going to move it? Probably Sangamon Avenue. And I'm going to be somebody who's going to be a forceful voice for my people on that side of town. And that's where we're different.
When I asked you to point out the things from your opponents, it seemed like both of your things were being opposed to just the attitude of that's just the way it is.
That's
you say we're not going to tear down the Pillsbury plant. That's just the way it is. We're not going to do it. Well, there's nothing we can do about consolidation. That's just the way it is.
And that's the way I've worked on the school board for 4 years, and the way I live my life is just because something's been done for so many years doesn't mean it's a good idea. It doesn't mean that there's nothing we can do. We have to rejuvenate our area of town because rejuvenating the north end of town is only going to help all of Springfield. So I want to work with all of my alderman colleagues to do that. So I'll support somebody on the south side to get something done over there as long as they're helping me on the north end. That's how it's going to work.
How confident are you going into this election? Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I am. I've talked to a lot of people. I have a lot of positive reactions at doors, but it's going to come down to how many folks come out on election day. Right. And I hope that they vote for somebody who, I've got a 4-year-old daughter at home. I'm the youngest candidate in there at 32 years old, and I really want to go out there and get the job done.
It's time for Candidate Quick Toss. Here's how it works. Just like when I played quick toss with my daughter in the front yard. I toss the ball, she hits him with the bat. Boom, 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 boom. It's quick. I need one-word answers, yes or no, or just the one-word answer. We ready?
Sure.
Cubs or Cards?
Cubs. I love punishment.
Residency requirement. Are you fur or again?
Fur with a grandfather clause.
Neapolitan ice cream. Best flavor?
Strawberry, always.
CWLP. 2 old Daimler plants. Do we keep them or close them?
Keep them as long as they're running.
Mellow Cream or Dunkin' Donuts?
Mellow Cream.
Do you support a property tax increase to help 186?
Have and always will.
Who is the true hero of Star Wars? Is it Luke Skywalker or Han Solo?
James Tiberius Kirk.
That's a great answer. Scale of 1 to 10. How worried are you about unfunded pensions?
I'm extremely worried. 10.
All right. Scott McFarland, Ward 4 alderman candidate. You're out there. You're shaking hands. You getting colds? I asked this question to Paul Palzolo. You getting a cold yet?
I have a daughter in daycare. I'm always a petri dish.
Do you have? Do you use the antibacterial?
No.
Stuff? What is wrong? You guys, you got to get something to wash your hands.
I'm just preparing myself for the super flu. I'm getting all the stuff built up now.
Listen, don't touch your nostril. Don't touch your eyes.
I got you.
That's the key. I learned this. I've been sick all winter, and I listen. Don't do that. If you're out there shaking hands, for all you know, and I'm sure all of your constituents, all of your potential future constituents are clean. But God forbid you get around some germ-infested ones and you touch your eyes. You don't want to be sick for the home stretch.
So far, so good, Ray.
How many doors you got left to knock on?
Well, we've knocked on everybody's door at least once, so we're going back again. I'm going to hit another couple thousand before it's all said and done.
Volunteers. Do you know your number of volunteers, people helping you out?
I have had at least 50 to 100 folks who have volunteered or have signed up to volunteer, so it's a really good mix of folks. I've been endorsed by the firefighters, city employees, the local trades and labor council, building trades. They've all endorsed me, and they're all sending out volunteers, and I have my own friends and family coming out and my neighbors as well.
Who would you like to see win the mayoral race? Do you have an opinion?
I'm looking forward to working with whoever wins.
All right. Scott McFarland, listen, good luck.
Thank you, sir. And if anyone wants to get a hold of me, scottmcfarland.us or 720-4716.
You're giving out your number.
That is my cell in my pocket right now.
720-4716. 4716. You will take their call.
And it's on the website, scottmcfarland.us.
And people living in Ward 4, Scott, I imagine he wants you to get out there and vote.
Yes, I do. April 7th. Or actually, early voting started today. You can go to the county building today.
Listen, I wish you luck.
Thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure to see you again.
Anytime.
And you won't be back. How's this work? If you win, you have to retire from the...
my term is up in April anyway, so there's actually 2 people running to replace me.
Right.
So
no matter what, you won't be on the school board.
No, I will just be a PTO father at Fairview Elementary.
All right. Scott McFarland, best of luck to you. Thank you for being on
the
show. That's Scott McFarland. He was our next candidate on the candidate questions here on the